Okay. So do you guys well, I mean, I know you've seen like red pill content because you've seen it around, but I don't know if you've ever seen any of those like those like dumb podcasts and stuff where like it'll be guys talking about like what you got to do to be like a high value man.
Oh yeah, like the alpha male content, like Andrew Tate type shit.
Sigma males.
Yeah, like they're like omega, sigma, and beta, and alpha males.
Dude,
Like and like all the alpha male content is like the weakest shit in the world. It's like, why look a woman in the eye when you're an alpha male? Or like,
wait, you're not supposed to look women in the eye?
That's part of the thing.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't like.
I have to like
consume
avert
it.
my
It's
eyes.
just like
like I'm fucking
like you're a high value man. You wear a suit every day. Like some shit like that.
So, do you think that there is a such thing as a high value man in your experiences dealing with men? Because you date men.
Actually, false.
I just assumed. I was making, throwing the dart, making an assumption. You never know in this time. You never know.
Well, I haven't really dated men, but like, just from general life interaction.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, because there's also like high value women content, which is like equally as like
cringe.
Bad, yeah. Look, there's this woman on TikTok, like the sprinkle lady, who she's like,
sprinkle.
Yeah, like you know what I'm talking about. The lady who's like, why pay for anything when you have a boyfriend? I don't get it. Sprinkle. He wants to go 50-50 on rent. Tell him he could go 100% because you're leaving. Sprinkle. Like, she'll just, like, give the worst, like, most unhinged advice about, like, getting the most from a man ever.
How to end
and
up
go,
alone.
I
Sprinkle.
love her.
What is she?
She's so funny.
Is she, like...
If a man won't buy it for you, you could just be like, oh, I didn't know you were in financial trouble.
Yeah!
I could get it elsewhere.
Was she joking? Like, is it, like,
no,
humorous?
it's like...
I think she's, like, genuinely
She's serious.
Oh, it sounds like satire or something.
It should be satire,
but like, it's not. Like, she's, like... That's what makes it better, is, like, it's real.
Yeah, that is true. There's nothing like unintentional humor. I love that shit.
Like, it's
that
like real.
Kills me. But
like, she's like, oh, I can't get it here. Well, I'll just look elsewhere. I'll get it somewhere else.
Hey, man, she's a boss babe, right? You gotta do what you gotta do. But do you think that there is like an actual high value man? Like, is there like a guy that every guy should aspire to be, or do you think that shit's...
Well, there's like being a good person, or like holding down a job, being hardworking, like being a nice like boyfriend.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like the high value man or like high value woman shit is like really just like not to be like taking society back like 50 years, but it's like you as a woman shouldn't have to work or pay for anything because you're a woman, and it's like
I got into
pause.
Yeah, I got into an argument.
But like I don't want to work, but like like. It's like, it's taking us back,
I got into an argument with a guy on the internet about that. And they've seen, specifically what you were just talking about, like taking us back 50 years. I remember once we got into an argument because I said, like, the way society has evolved, like the economy and all these other things and cultural norms, I was like, there's no way we go back to like a traditional kind of, family setup where, a woman stays home and guy just works. I was like, you're not going to do that unless you're, like, fucking loaded. Like, you got to become, like, fucking super rich. And even then, it probably wouldn't be a good idea, right? And I was saying, like, I said this stuff, and then he called me, like, a fucking incel. He was like, oh, you just don't want to do what you got to do to be a man. And I was like, what the fuck? So...
That's really weird.
Yeah.
Like...
That's the kind of... His belief is that, like, the reason why there are problems in, like, the dating market now is because people aren't Christian enough, I guess. And if everyone just became Christian...
Don't Christians not like fuck until... Wait, can I curse on this?
Yeah.
Okay, like don't Christians not like fuck until marriage? So like if everyone was Christian, like not to be like... People would just know each other for a month and get married because they want to smash.
Yeah.
Like that's how they do it in like real Christian... Like, like the 19 Kids and Counting like type shit.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Like them. Or like Girl Defined where like... Basically like there's these two like girls on YouTube. Like Cody Cole like made fun of them.
Oh,
but like like the Girl Defined things, and they like waited. One of them like waited till marriage to even kiss her husband or like hold his hand, and she was like, like it's not in the Bible. I just really wanted to challenge my faith a little more, and like the guy was totally cool with it because like he was gay. Like he went to conversion camp like 3 or 4 times before marrying this girl, so like obviously like he didn't want to kiss her.
He didn't convert.
It wasn't a test of his faith. It was like, oh,
Conversion
perfect. So like,
it's crazy.
I mean, like if society like worked like that, like
yeah.
the birth rate would really decrease like a lot.
It's crazy that people still send their kids to conversion camp. That's insane. I didn't know that was still a thing.
That's like really sad.
Jesus Christ. But anyways, though it's funny because you also touched on another thing that I was like the irony in him suggesting that we just go back to these traditional like roles is the reason we're in this problem where men and women are at each other's throats a lot of the time in like the social media sphere is because it was a reaction to these strict gender roles and people feeling, you know, restricted by them and like wanting to explore other avenues. And then, you know, society is like, if you do those things, you're a fag or whatever. That kind of stuff. Yeah. That's what they do. Like if you like back in the 1950s, if a dude had long hair and a beard, he was considered gay. It's like you're a homo for having long hair and a beard. You couldn't do that kind of stuff.
Only woman's supposed to have long hair.
Yeah. Or a hippie. Right? They'd call you they say you were gay or you were a hippie or something.
That's like really crazy because like most guys with long hair are not gay. Like most guys with the long like man buns, I feel like that's like a straight thing. Like gay,
Yeah, very 80s. Like in the 80s, every dude had long hair, like super long hair. That was like a thing.
And he was probably getting a lot of action back then.
They were, yeah. And the funny thing with the 80s, right? That's so hilarious. The 70s and 80s is the longer their hair and the more like the makeup and stuff they would wear. So if they had like eye makeup and shit, and if they wore like frilly clothes, the more girls they would get. So like all this like gender role stuff, the more they pushed against it, the more women they got.
That's like Harry Styles. Like every girl I know like creams for him, and like. They're like, oh my god, he's like breaking gender norms by wearing the ugliest outfit possible. And I'm like, he's not breaking gender norms. He's just like, looks bad.
Do you think his hair is real? I'm pretty sure it's fake.
I think his hair is real. I don't think it looks good, but like I think
it looks
real.
weird to me too. I was looking at it. I was looking at a picture of him the other day, and I was like, why does he look like this? But why was I looking at a picture of him? We'll just leave that, okay?
Hey,
that's my personal.
He already said he jerked off.
That's my personal one. Yeah, I have very interesting taste. Is what I'll say. Yeah. But
what you doing?
He is bi, so you have a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not bi.
No, Harry Styles is.
Oh
damn! Look at you.
No, I was thinking.
Wait, is he actually, or was he like, I don't want to label myself?
I think he was like, I want to be ambiguous.
Oh.
But like, okay.
So he's not bi. He's just saying what he thinks.
We'll get him more pussy. Because I feel like a lot of celebrities say like, oh, I'm not labeling myself, but like they just want to seem like quirky and different. Like they'll only be in like heterosexual like relationships, but they'll just say that to like
they're bisexual
to like get their fans like crazy. Yeah.
But before I go off on a tangent about bisexuality, what do you
pause?
I'm just playing around. But
you want to out yourself right now.
Oh, no, I don't give it. I mean, yeah, sure.
It's the platform to do it, right?
I guess. Yeah, out yourself, whatever. Anyways, what about you, EJ? Do you think there's a concept of like I guess we'll shift it to like a high-value man or high-value woman, that kind of thing. Do you think those things are real or just a stupid idea?
Yeah, I think that's just a label that people have been throwing onto genders. I remember some guy was saying like he don't believe in like the high-value thing. It's just being a man in itself or being a woman. You could be high value in that. You could be upstanding in that. And I think that's how I view like just the term of being a man in general. Like I want to live up to just being that to the fullest. Like to me, I see that as being high value. Like somebody that I respect as a man or I respect as a woman, they living up to, you know, a certain standard or way of being. So that's just the way that I look at it when it comes to, you know, either side.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching a video before I got here with these fucking idiots. Do you guys know who Destiny is? Do you know who Destiny?
Destiny, like...
He's a child? No.
Yeah, like...
Nah, he's like a guy on the internet who does like... He has blue hair and does like stupid debate things, right?
Yeah,
okay.
He did have one video that you sent a while back that was...
Yeah,
I think he was going at it with Sneeko.
Yeah. So like he was on that podcast, Fresh and Fit, right? And then they started talking about the high value stuff. And you know, he's debating against them, and it was just so funny because they're asking the guy to define what a high value man is, right? The supposed king of the red pill. Like, he should know this. This is all they talk about. And he refuses to answer the question. He's like, it's whatever, you know, whatever you define it as. And he's like, no, because you have these strict ideas, right?
So, like, what is high value?
Yeah, what is it? He just can't answer the question, but he doesn't want to walk it back. So he's just being very stubborn. And, like his little list of like high value was something like it was like get a vasectomy so you can't have kids and like and like it
Doesn't
don't.
that decrease your value? Because like you
so
can't
random.
have children.
That's
How does that make you high value?
That's what everyone else was saying. They're like, wouldn't you want to have, like, how is high value decreasing, like you said, not having the ability to reproduce? Like, that,
That's fucking weird.
yeah, like, you can't continue yourself or anything, so whatever. And then it's
Just
like,
fucking ending the bloodline.
make a lot of money, I guess. And there was, like, something else about not getting into any, like, long-term relationships at all
Yeah.
till you, I don't know, till you, like, reach, like, 30s or something. I don't know. And then, trying to remember what else was on there. But basically, the main point was have a lot of money, and don't have any children, don't have a wife, and then you'll be high value.
But then, like, who are you high value? Like, isn't okay? Like, I don't believe in this. I feel like the only people who like truly like believe in this like stuff is like the cast members of Love Is Blind. I feel like those types of people
Yeah.
believe in crap like this. But it's
Yeah.
also like, isn't the goal of being like a high value man, like in very like straight relationships, like to attract a high value women?
That's
so,
what
like,
you would
if
think.
you can't have kids, like what type of like
Yeah,
what
like-
are you like if you never have a wife, so you're just high value like
By yourself.
alone in your mansion?
That's what I was thinking about on my way here. I'm just thinking in my head, I was like, what kind of life would that be to live? It's like, okay, so I guess you could live the boy king fantasy where it's like, yeah, I got like mad money and I just fuck chicks all day, but that would get boring. That'd get boring.
It's giving like Barney from How I Met Your Mother,
Oh,
where he
wants
just
to,
like
yeah.
lives in like this bachelor pad and like
And then he feels
gets
empty.
with like 1,000 women,
Yeah.
but like
Like it was like empty inside, right?
like
Yeah.
yeah, but it's also like, is he like the alpha male that everyone aspires to? Like
I think that's what they think.
And it's,
Yeah, they
it's
think.
sad because, I mean, I watched a little bit of that show and you see his, like, evolution.
Wasn't it hinted that he was gay the entire time and that's why he was doing
I mean,
that?
he's gay in real life.
no, he's gay. He's like 100% straight in the show.
Oh,
In the
okay,
show,
okay.
he's straight, yeah.
I thought
But
someone.
like in real life, he's gay.
I think there was a fan theory I saw where someone was saying they think he
But
was
every
gay.
role he plays, for some reason, he's straight. I think.
Yeah, he just never plays gay. He
That's a
just
good-
acts straight.
I mean, that's a good thing. He's supposed to be acting, right?
Yeah,
So-
versatile.
Yeah. But what were you gonna say, EJ?
No, I think I said it about his evolution.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It was about the show. That's good. Instead of the topic, you start talking about the show. That's a good thing to do. I appreciate that. But anyways, yeah, it's just I don't understand what kind of life these guys want to live. Where it's like, because like they say, so like one of the arguments they had, they were like, if you have game and meet all kinds of women or whatever, then you'll understand how to deal with them. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense because
Yeah.
you only know how to deal with like a specific subset of women, right? Because like when I used to go to nightclubs and stuff, those women weren't like the women I'd meet at work or the women I interact with. Like you would think. Like I remember when I was a stupid kid and I had like these assumptions about women. I would meet women who would challenge my assumptions, and I'm like, oh shit, I guess that idea I had was kind of wrong. Because I meet women all the time who like, you know, push back against like the stereotypical ideas of what everyone thinks a woman is after and like that kind of stuff. So I feel like all you do in trying to become a high value man is like limit yourself and you become trapped in this stupid fantasy that's gonna make you unhappy eventually.
Yeah, I feel like again, like it's not like a real thing. Like, like
That's
you're
the
just
other
like
thing. I don't
you're
think
just
it's real
like
thing.
okay, like you just have a lot of money and like live alone and like have a bunch of like have a long roster of like women to
Yeah.
get with, but like that's I mean if that's your goal, like live your
Yeah,
life.
do
But
whatever
like
you want.
I feel like you can't say like I'm high value because of this.
No.
Like no, you're just a weirdo. Like
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it in like the objective sense, I guess like if we think of like high value as a concept in itself, right? It'd be you generate value for other people. So, I guess it would be something like if you had a business that I don't know hired people and that kind of thing. Then I guess you're high value in that sense. But like, where does the like not having a wife and stuff fit into that? Because when you look at
Yeah.
these like big CEOs who make lots of money, they all have families. They all have families.
yeah, they're
Like-
all like, you know, like who well, Elon Musk, like no, his family,
Yeah.
that's different. But like I was thinking like the TikTok CEO,
Yeah.
like the one like in the congressional hearings, like he just has a normal wife, kids. Yeah, like he's so
wholesome.
cute. And like they just like live their best life, like off his TikTok money. And, like, Yeah, like I don't know. Why
you-
why do you have to do it alone to be like high value?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I guess you reach this point where, like, I guess when I got into like the self improvement shit, right? There's something that can happen to you that I realized as I was trying to do it. You can end up in this state where you kind of start to think you're all alone and everyone's against you, and then you kind of want to prove something. So you try to do everything alone and try to like, you try to prove. It's like you're fighting against yourself. You're trying to prove something to yourself, and it just becomes this stupid mental trap where you're just suffering because you're lonely. You're just
Yeah.
like, you know how many guys go to the gym, right? They become fucking ripped, and then they just don't talk to anyone. They just become like lonely,
Like obsessed. Like,
yeah, lonely gym guys.
It's like they got this chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
It's like, for
yeah,
what?
like angry for no
Yeah.
reason.
And they can't even communicate. Like sometimes I would try to talk to some of them, and they seem like, until I keep talking to them, and then they realize I have no ulterior motives.
Yeah.
I wear them down.
It's
and
like
then we,
people with imaginary haters, like those girls who post on
Word.
Instagram for my haters, or like posting
My
like,
sister.
yeah, they're like, I'm making the haters mad, or they hate to see you win, and I'm like, who are they? Like,
Like,
who
no,
are all
it's
these
like
people?
no one's
it's like
doubted you.
I don't even know who you are. Like what's going on here?
No
Like-
one's doubted you. Nobody's even thought about you. Like,
Like,
Yeah.
who was your hater? Like the teacher who told you you're gonna fail her class if you
Yeah.
didn't hand in your 89 missing homework assignments. Like, who's holding you back in
Yeah.
life?
Whenever I see people post shit like that, my first thought is they're probably like a really bad person who is like ostracize everyone around them, and those are their haters. The people that they've done bad shit to that don't want anything to do with them now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, I know a girl who like always posts stuff like that, and I'm like, who is this like like it seems so targeted. She's like subs, and I'm like, who are you? Like
Oh, I hate subs.
when people
Yeah.
who get mad about subs at like
Yeah.
over the age of like 15,
Yeah.
like I think like you have like you need help.
You need
like
help.
you need to like grow up.
The last girl I dated would write subs that were supposed to be directed towards me, and I wouldn't respond to them. I would see them and then kind of chuckle and laugh and then not say anything, and that would get her even more mad that I wasn't battling her. I was supposed to also make a sub, and we are supposed to have like this like internet battle, and I was like, no, that's goofy. I'm not doing
That's
that.
weird.
So I
That's-
don't want to do that.
I think the last
Oh.
time I did that with someone was like my freshman year of high
I
school.
think I might have been 16 when I done it.
Yeah, like I think I was like around that age. Like I don't think if you're like an adult, like walking around,
Just like-
paying taxes, and mad that someone's subbing you on Twitter, like that's weird.
It's like, yeah, go touch grass. Go touch grass.
Yeah.
But all right. Have you ever had a period where you tried to be like a high value woman, like a boss babe kind of thing? Have you ever tried that?
No. Be honest, like absolutely not. I know like one girl I used to work with, like she would like watch those type of videos on YouTube, and she'd be like so like she'd take them to heart and like be genuinely like upset that she couldn't be a high value woman. And I'm like, I was like, you realize like this isn't real. And she's like, I feel like for women too, I guess like part of the high value woman thing was like looking a certain way, and she's like, oh, I don't have value, I'm not high value because I'm a little overweight. And I'm like, what? I was like, number one, like this isn't a real thing, and number two, it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks that like, you know, certain guys want a girl who looks a certain way, but like that's not what makes or breaks a relationship. Like if you want a genuine relationship with somebody, which like she did want, like they're gonna care more about like who you are than how you look. And she's like, it's just sad that no one will label me as high value because like I have a job, I have a car, I pay my bills on time, I'm such a great person, and I'm not high value because of how I look. And I'm like,
Jesus.
I don't think like you should like care that much about these like
Yeah.
rando Reddit
She's
bros on
fucking wreaking
YouTube.
havoc on her. On
But
her
like
mental.
she like really like took it to heart.
I mean, even if the weight thing was bothering her so much, she could have just, I don't know, started trying to lose weight. If it bothered her that much.
No, like she could have. I don't know why she didn't. But
Yeah.
like that's like a separate like story.
Separate thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't think I've like never wanted to be a high value man or anything. I can't, try to think in my life. There have been times where I wanted to make a lot of money. But whenever I did that, it was like, the thought was, if I make this much money, I can help other people. Like, I'd be like, I can like help my mom and shit. And I remember at one point, I did have these very lofty aspirations about like starting a charity. And I was like, if I make a lot of money, I can start this charity, put all my money into the charity. It was never to just like sit back on my money and just have a bunch of chicks around me. Because I just didn't see the value in that.
Yeah. I mean, like, you could strive for, like, self-improvement or, like, you know, making more money, advancing your career.
Yeah.
But to do it with the goal of, like, fucking a lot of bitches is like fucking weird. Like that's weird.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, you know, I don't look at it with a high value, like from a high value angle. I just try to be a good person and be happy. That's the things that I'm like trying to do every day. And then I think when you get on that hamster wheel or trying to constantly climb up this ladder to success or all those high value things that people consider, you're just gonna drive yourself crazy because even if you get one of them, it's gonna be something else, and you probably never feel fulfilled by it. So I just try to, you know, like there are things that I want to do that I haven't done yet, goals that I have. But even if I don't get those things, I'm still gonna, you know, be charismatic, be a good person to people.
Charismatic? You just slap that label on yourself?
Yeah, I'm charismatic.
You're not supposed to slap it on you. Other people have to call you charismatic.
You're right. But no, I'm just gonna continue to like push towards that, but I'm still gonna be good towards people and just be happy with where I'm at. And those have been, you know, things have been good in my life for me. So.
But how many bitches do you have?
I don't know, man.
How big is your roster? How big is your roster? That's what they actually have. They unironically have conversations like that in the red pill space. It's like they'll be like, you shouldn't be taking advice from this red pill guy because he doesn't even have a roster and the girls he fucks are ugly, and they'll do that shit. And
why do they know like? Because every girl that they're friends with fucks, like that's weird.
They're not even friends with these people. They go and dig information on their enemies. They'll like go digging for their lives, their personal lives, and then like, just fucking like leak these things and then, you know, make fun of the person. And it's like it's 13-year-old boy shit. And these are grown men. They're like in their 30s. Crazy, man.
That's like a really productive use of their time. Like I don't know what else to say.
Wow. Other weirdos.
Yeah.
Well, other weirdos like watching it. I don't understand why. I don't understand what enjoyment they get from this. But I've been trying to figure it out for a long time, too, because I'll see things I don't like, and instead of looking away from it, I try to understand it. So I'll sit there watching and getting, like, agitated by these things over and over again until I finally have to disengage. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't figure it out. Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, like, just from what I've seen, like, a lot of girls do have, like, rosters of guys they, like, talk to. But, like, they don't rate each other on it. They're not like, yeah, you need at least 15 alpha men on your roster or else you're garbage. Like, when my friends do it, it's just like, oh, yeah, like, I'm talking to this guy. I'm talking to him, but it's not as serious. Or, like, we snap once a day. Or, like, crap like that where I'm like, all right, like, you're just, like, dating around, talking to a few guys. Like, being like, in your 20s, like, I think it's normal to, like, talk to multiple people at the same time, figure out who you want to date. Like,
depending on who you talk to, anyway. Yeah.
All right, if you're not like, you know, if you're in mainstream normal society, like, well, it's not fucking weird.
Because the thing is, people will do that shit, right? And then they will interact with you, find out you're doing it, and then suddenly, they're mad at you, and it's like, well, you're doing the same thing. It's like, I don't understand.
Yeah. That's just like jealousy and like insecurity in your like relationships.
Yeah,
but that's like also
a
normal thing.
Yeah, yeah.